Today we will see how the frame of the base is done, the pattern. It is made in wax, pink wax, 2 millimeters thickness. So we mark the margins of the denture. It's where the mucosa becomes neutral, passive mobile we call it, or neutral. Not fixed, not totally mobile, but in between. The AH line and super-equatorial on the remaining teeth. There the base of the denture will sit and will prevent the pressure that the denture can cause on the mucosa. And in the same time it will counteract the forces of the clasps. It will act as a counter clasp. The material that I used here, I didn't say that in the previous videos. Normally we use dental cement prepared in a viscous consistency to allow you to place it where you want. In this case I used a class 4 plaster, which is stronger than class 3 plaster, tougher, and gives a very good contrast and is very resistant. So the model is insulated in water for 5 minutes so as to make sure that the wax will not stick to the plaster. So I start plastifying the wax, actually making it soft, softening it. The wax is quite soft itself. You don't need to bring it to a high temperature in order to be moldable. It has to the temperature has to go uniform on this plate. The whole plate should work as one piece. We start from the palette as we saw in the previous case with the bite block, and we go to the exterior. It's very similar to what we saw before. We want to move quite fast in order to avoid the wax from losing temperature, from losing heat. Because if it becomes rigid, I will have to bring it back and start everything again, or I will make it too thin, which is not good. So once on position, I just cut the excess using a scalpel and following the limits that I've marked on the model previously. I see them through the wax, actually. Yeah. Here also on the labial part corresponding to the neutral mucosa. As you can see, I don't press the wax too much because I don't want to thin it. I go slowly from one place to the other. The composition of this wax is beeswax, carnauba wax, paraffin, and tint. So I took the excess material away quickly, kind of quickly. You see, the volume is quite important, so I have to pay attention that it sits perfectly on our clinical situation in all directions. Although it is soft, it contracts quite much, pretty much. So if it loses contact with the model, I will have to reheat it and replace it on the desired position. Here I need to add, because I cut more than necessary. There's no problem because I can add some wax. I can easily add a little bit of wax, same thickness. And I'll stick it in place also with wax, melted wax. So I let everything harden, cool down. And then I do the final touch in other zones. I don't waste my time. And as you can see, the base of the denture is represented by the sella of the denture. You can see that on the mucosal aspect. So they sit on the edentulous stones. It's there where we'll place the artificial teeth. And there's the main connector, represented by the palatal plate in the maxillary, or the lingual plate in the mandible. So now I check again. If I feel that the wax is not sitting perfectly, I can pump a little bit of hot air. I can't plastify it directly under the flame, because I can damage it. I can modify it and have to start it again. But I just use some hot air pushed with this little pump. Slowly, I reheat it slowly. You see it changes color a little bit. It becomes more matte and whitish. And then slowly I place it back. I reposition it exactly on the model. Now there's more variance in this moment to create the basis for this acrylic partial denture. This variant is extended or total. That stops to the maximum limits, the maximum outer limits that are possible. This is very strong, but it's very uncomfortable for the patient because it's big and it's thick. So the patient cannot speak so well. There's no thermal transfer. The patient cannot feel very well the temperature of the food and cannot feel the taste in that region on the palate. The other way is to do it like this. This is distally removed or distally reduced. This gives more comfort to the patient, because you see a lot of the palate is free, but it's not so strong mechanically, so it should have a reinforcement in the anterior zone. At the same time, we can do it window and away from the periodontium. But this is very weak, mechanically speaking. But we will do something like this if we do the base in full metal. But this is something that we see later. So next time we'll start with mounting the teeth. Thank you.